Page 157, Jericho. On page 154 and 155, introducing you to the A minor scale, the harmonic minor scale. Things just got a little more involved. In the past, we've been dealing only with major scales. We've had the C major scale and its primary keys. No sharps or flats. We've had the G major scale and its primary keys. It's got one sharp. We've had the F major scale and its primary keys. It's got one flat. Well, now we get the A minor. Not major, minor. Remember I told you the major scale is a set pattern of whole steps and half steps. All major scales follow the same pattern. All of these scales we've covered, all of them, that follow whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And you can always go back to C major if you forget what it is. Just look at C major, it's there. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. That's the pattern for a major scale. A minor scale just simply has a different pattern. That's all. There's different flavors of minor scales. They're talking about the harmonic minor, but first I want you to get the regular natural minor scale first. Understand that. A minor, A to A, also has no sharps or flats. It's called the relative minor to C major because it has the same key signature. It's related by key signature. C major has no sharps or flats. A minor has no sharps or flats. If you're wondering what it is, you just go down 3 half steps and that'll tell you. That made no sense, but let me explain. In C major, C, if I go down 3 half steps, 1, 2, 3, remember half step is the shortest, okay? That tells me the relative minor of that major scale, whatever it is. So I could say here, G major, if I go 1, 2, 3, that means E minor is the relative minor to G major. In other words, it has the same key signature. That's how I figured out. That got me through music theory in college and the whole bit. It works wonderful. Most of the books will tell you to go up an interval of a sixth. So they'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A. So they'll say go up an interval of a sixth and that'll give you the relative minor. But to me, it's quicker if I go down 3 half steps. So the natural minor is exactly the same notes, the same key signature, the whole bit. The harmonic minor simply takes the 7th step. Remember, every note in a scale is numbered and we call them steps. Well, the 7th is 1 less than 8. So the 7th would be here at G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I just go down from 8, 1. I go 1 down from 8 because you get what I'm getting, it's quicker. And you take that 7th step and you raise it a half step. So instead of here, it's here. So the harmonic minor is actually here. So the natural minor is... harmonic minor, it sounds a lot neater. The harmonic minor is the minor that I cover in my scale videos. So now you need to go to the scale video for A minor and learn that 1 octave up and down. Do everything I'm telling you. And what I do on here is I take the key signature. So when I'm practicing and I do the scales, I'm working on the scales, I do it by key signature. So if I'm working on the C major scale, I will also work on the A minor scale because it's the same key signature. So I do the major scale and the minor scale both. So now we got to start adding minor scales to this. So when you look at a piece now and you look at the key signature, you can't just automatically say it's in such and such a major key because it might be the minor key. Now we have to decide, is it major or minor? Look at Jericho. No sharps or flats, you think, okay, that's C major. Well, no, not really. And there are different ways of doing that, and really the most reliable is simply to listen because the keys sound different. This sounds different than this. This sounds different than this. It's that the harmony sounds different between the major and minor. Most of the time, not always, most of the time you can look at the end because a piece will end on its 1 chord. Not always. It may start on its one chord, but a lot of times they don't. You can't rely on that very well. So at the end, look at the last measure. You're here. That's an A minor chord. So that would tell me, okay, this must be an A minor, not C major. Now let's go look at Jericho, because we got syncopated notes. We've had syncopations before. Now remember, syncopation is when something has happened when I don't expect it, or something didn't happen when I did expect it, or it throws it off just a little bit. That's syncopation. So look the piece over. It's 3 lines long. We got first and second endings, so it's actually longer than 3 lines. Okay. Treble and bass clef, 4/4 time. The key signature, we've already talked about the key signature. We got eighth notes all over the place and quarter notes and half notes. Hopefully we can deal with it, but there's syncopation in there. So let's see what we have. Right hand, 1 and you're just crossing over for 1 note here. So don't move the hand around, just cross over for 1 note. Relax, you can do this. 1 and 2 and. Second measure. First beat is simple enough, but on the second beat you get a rest rather than a note, and that's where the syncopation comes in. You're expecting a note and you don't get it. Well, that's syncopation. It throws it off. It's late. Where you been? You're late. Well, that's syncopation. So again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and those are both tied, so hang on to them, then go on. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If you can get that, you got it. Last line, you're here half notes, no, and then the last measure, you're hearing to reach up, 2, 5. If you can't reach it, that's fine, just move up. I like to feel my way around the keyboard so I can reach it, I do. Left hand, well, whole notes. I prefer, if you look at the third measure, you get the E is an octave here. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to use third finger for the A, so I'm in position. You can use little finger on all. It's just more dangerous, and I prefer to just leave my hand in this position. Second line, last 2 measures. Here, F sharp, G sharp. And then cross over for 1 note. So it's 1 and 2 and 3. And then you're using 5 when you repeat. You're going to use 5, but then I can go ahead and use 3 on the second one. Again, the repeated notes, so I just changed fingers. Last line. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the same as the first ending. Okay, put the hands together here. 1, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3. There, end of the first line. Last 2 notes are by themselves. Lift the left hand up. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Again, lift the left hand up. There, the right hand comes up. It's the end of the second line. Right there, the right hand comes up. And then you repeat that. Last line is, now you have rest in the left hand, so here the right hand stays down. So you work through, get the hands together, and then go back through and get rid of the hesitations at your speed. Then we think about the articulation, which they don't give you much of any except maybe a few accents in the last line. You can separate these slightly, just a little bit, just a little separation is fine. Accent, accent, just separate them slightly. Not real short, just separated. Then dynamics, well, that goes to the melody, which is the right hand. Whatever you think moderately loud is. Keep these chords in the background. That's basically it until you get the last line. You go up to loud. I take these accents in this case to be more a way of articulating the note rather than dynamic. That is, I'm not going to play the accented notes louder because I'm already loud. That's loud enough. I'm just going to separate the notes because of the accent. Just a little bit. That's the only difference. Otherwise, I'm playing them loud already. Okay, now in the third measure, the last line here, all the time I'm doing this, I want to hear this. Don't drown it out. Yeah. Then finally the speed. Well, it's that moderately fast thing again, which means have fun with it. It's got to be accurate. The eighth note's got to be controlled, so don't get too fast here. Now, some people will play this in a different style. Yeah, that's interpretation. Some people say, oh yeah, that's great, let's do it in this. And other people say, don't you dare do it in this. You play it this way. That's the way it was intended. Go away. I like to play this more of in a swing style. And it's done a lot of times in a swing style. And that's where you swing the eighth notes. You just swing it. And you swing the counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and it's 1 and 2 and 3. That slows it down a little bit because of the short notes get too short if you go too fast. But here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. Some people like that, some people don't. Between you and your teacher, how you like it, try them out and see what you think. When we do the play with me, I'm going to play them even, because that's what's written here. So let's play it together very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. Not going to do any dynamics. I will separate the accented notes just slightly. So I'll give us 4 counts, and we are going to do the repeat in the whole bit. 1 and 2 and ready and go and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3. 2 and 3 and repeat. 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3. 2 and 3. Second ending.